What is up everyone, Dan here, and today I'm going to be doing my review for Supergirl Season 2, Episode 8, Medusa. Now, to most people this will probably be, the kickoff episode for the, heroes versus aliens, crossover thing, but really, this episode didn't have a lot to do with that, apart from, the last 30 seconds and, some parts throughout the episode, but it really wasn't that big. But then, yet again, I didn't really go into this episode, expecting there to be loads, to tie in with, the episode itself, to the crossover event. But even without that, I still thought this was a very good episode of Supergirl. I believe this actually is the mid-season finale, and so there won't be any more Supergirl now until, I believe, January, which is where when all the shows come back after you've had, the mid-season break. So yeah, it's going to be cool to see where they're going to pick up these storylines now that, of course, we've kind of gotten some teasers as to the storylines we'll be getting for Season 2, but we're going to talk about that later on, so let's just go through the episode now. I'm going to talk to you what I did like and what I didn't like, but first of all, obviously, we'll give you a brief synopsis of the plot of what happened throughout the episode. So, of course, careful for spoilers if you haven't watched the episode, because, of course, I will be spoiling what happened. So, if you're not caught up or you haven't watched it yet, then obviously click off the video, go watch the episode, then come back and watch the video. So, basically, the episode revolves around this device, or should I say, rather, this weapon that has the ability to kill any alien that is infected by it. So all humans will be fine, but it targets alien genes except for Kryptonian genes and basically kills them. And it's just revealed that it's actually Lillian Luthor who's behind all of this, because obviously last episode she took a sample of Kara's blood, which was used to access, the little, whatever it's called, little ice cave area up north. I have no clue what it's called. It's not really sinking into my head. Let me know in the comments if you know what that is, but I've completely forgot. So yeah, they basically use her blood to go up there. They extract the plans for the device and they basically use it. They test it in a random pub area of the city where Mon-El conveniently is. But luckily he isn't affected by it as badly because, of course, Cyborg Superman, kind of distracts him, but he still gets infected by it anyway. So the episode mainly revolves around trying to stop Lillian Luthor, sending this device and killing every single alien, not just in National City, but also, on Earth as well. So that was it was a good plot line. It was good overall as a main plot. I do feel like I've said, in the preview, for all the CW shows this week, Supergirl has definitely benefited from a lot better writing since it has moved to the CW, and I do find the main plot lines to be a lot more interesting, in particular this one, mainly because of the fact that obviously we're dealing with the Luthors here, who, if you've read the comics, obviously Lex Luthor, probably easily the biggest of them all. So I am really excited to see if they're gonna, delve into the Lex Luthor's, family more in the second half of the season. We'll just have to wait and see. But overall, I like this plot line. It was good how it was resolved with essentially Lena, turning against her mother and handing her in. Because throughout the episode, I actually didn't know whose side she was on, whether she was on her mum's side, whether she was on, Kara's side. But nope, she sided with Kara and got her mum arrested, which was really good. It was a good change of character, and at least it gave her some development, that she wasn't tempted by, the evil that obviously stands in her family, so that was really cool. Now for the side plots this week, of course we had the Mon-El getting infected, by that virus thing early on in the episode, and of course his body's trying to withstand it, but it's not, doing a great job of it, and so obviously he, is really sick, and he has, of course, something that I pretty much predicted we were going to get in the mid-season finale, which is, of course, the kiss between him and Kara. This was kind of expected. They've had this, chemistry and tension, building up to this point, so it just made sense for it to happen, to be honest. And what was even more funny is the fact that as soon as he gets cured of the virus and he wakes up, he doesn't even remember the kiss, and Kara's just like, oh yeah, nothing happened. But yeah, we all know something happened. Something will definitely happen, and interesting to see how their relationship will develop in the second half of the season. Whether they will properly become a couple. That would be pretty cool if they did. So yeah, definitely interested by that. We also had story between Alex, of course, because she tells her mother that obviously she is lesbian, and she's been hiding this from her because she's convinced that if she tells her mother that she's a lesbian, she'll look at her with guilt and like be really mad at her. But when obviously, as we pretty much expected, when she tells her that she's a lesbian, she's actually really happy for her. And then at the end of the episode, Maggie, after getting shot by Cyborg Superman in an altercation with Supergirl, she realizes that she actually does love Alex, and so they officially become a couple by the end of the episode, which was yet again another storyline that I kind of expected that we would see in the mid-season finale, because of course they're going to want to set it up for the second half of the season. But I did like how it was resolved. Just overall, those two, I want to say, love story, romantic storylines did get good resolution, because of course we're probably going to get more, because there were good teasers for what we'll probably get in the second half of the season for those stories. So it was good in that aspect, and yeah, definitely it will be interesting to see how they take them. However, we do have one more storyline to cover over, and that is, of course, Martian Manhunter's, storyline, or John John's, as some people call him. I just call him Martian Manhunter because it's a lot easier to remember for me. But obviously, he's been slowly, turning into a white Martian over the past, 2 episodes. But now, in this episode, he essentially gets cured from it after the Supergirl stops the virus, or rather, Lena Luthor stops the virus from being active. They're able to, reverse engineer a cure for his blood, and so he stops turning into a white Martian, which I felt was kind of abrupt and came out a bit out of nowhere, to be honest. They never really said beforehand, oh, you can reverse, engineer this to make a vaccine out of the virus. It didn't. I don't know. I don't know whether it was just me, but that sort of part of the episode did feel a bit rushed. That was pretty much the only criticism I had with this episode, was that plot line and how quickly it was resolved. Because it was something that I really thought they were going to carry into season 2, but no, it was only there for a few episodes. And it's a shame, because it was cool seeing him, when he was in action against Cyborg Superman, turning into his Martian form, but he kind of was a hybrid between a green Martian and a white Martian. It was, pretty awesome to see that. It's a shame we're not going to see it anymore, because obviously he's been cured now. But I still like his character, but I do feel like the storyline's ending was a bit abrupt. I guess they've got bigger plans for his character in the second half of the season with storylines. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens over there. And of course, I can't finish the story segment without mentioning, the crossover scene, where I think it's like the last 30 seconds of the episode, we see Barry and Cisco essentially create a breach in time and get over to Kara's Earth, and then obviously they're in Kara's apartment, they talk, and then Barry reminds Kara that she said she'd owe him one in the future if he ever needed it, because of course, in season 1, with the crossover episode, he helped her when he accidentally went on her Earth, and the episode essentially ends with Kara saying, so what kind of threat are we up against? And then the episode just cuts, and then it says, to be continued on The Flash. So, yeah, if you were somebody expecting Barry to be in the episode for like 20 minutes, you were probably disappointed, but I didn't really expect him to be in it any longer than 2 minutes, to be honest. I was happy with the tease we got, because that's exactly what it was. It was more or less a tease. And we did get, some teases throughout the episode that Barry has been trying to get into Kara's Earth multiple times, because of course at the start of the episode, when there's the Thanksgiving dinner, there's obviously the breach that opens in the table, but then it closes again. And then obviously, in one of the fights between Kara and Cyborg Superman, there's another unsuccessful breach, but it just pretty much hints throughout the episode that Barry is in desperate need of getting her, so serious stuff probably will go down in the Flash episode, because it takes place before and after he goes through the breach to see Supergirl, so it's going to be interesting to see how massive the threat is that Barry, is trying so desperately to get Supergirl, so yeah, it's going to be fun to see that. So overall, to give this episode a rating, I will probably have to give it probably a 7.5 out of 10. I do feel like this was a good episode. It was just how abrupt the ending was to that storyline really did put me off, because it just came out of nowhere, and I feel like it really didn't get enough attention as it should have done because of how intriguing it was. I also was a bit disappointed that they decided to drag out the Guardian identity storyline for a bit longer. I do wish they had I wish that storyline and the Martian Manhunter infection storyline had swapped places so that James told Kara that he was the Guardian in this mid-season finale, and the Sobe could carry on the plotline of Martian Manhunter being affected, because it just feels like a storyline that would be much more interesting to watch progressively over the season than James being like, oh, I can't tell Kara that I'm the Guardian, but I really want to, because we've seen that storyline way too many times in other CW/DC shows. So that's just me personally, but yeah, those were the only two negatives I have with the episode, to be honest. So yeah, a 7.5 rating I think is very, very justified for the episode. So what do you think of Supergirl Season 2, Episode 8, The Medusa? Did you think it was a good episode? Are you hyped for the rest of the CW/DC shows? I'm definitely hyped for The Flash. You could definitely be seeing my review for that tomorrow. I won't be in college tomorrow, so the review for that will be up much earlier than this review for Supergirl. I apologize, this one is a bit later, but I just wanted to, I wanted to watch the episode first, and then have some time to really think about it, and then obviously do the commentary. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoy the video. Make sure you stick to the channel. Check out my preview video for the episodes for Flash, Arrow, and Legends. And of course, tomorrow I will be doing my Flash review. Then of course on the Thursday I will be doing my Arrow review. And then of course Friday we'll be doing the Legends review. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.